What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and boy, do we have some big news today as it relates to the future of the Scream franchise. We've been talking about it here on this channel for months now, dating back to September, I believe. Finally, something really concrete to dig our teeth into, and if you're thinking about digging your teeth into concrete, I'd advise against it. Don't do it. Sounds painful. Sounds like it'd be a lot of oral surgery. And you don't need that in your life. But here's what you do need in your life. And that is some Scream 5, as I always say, because we really don't know what we're getting. Some Scream news. Let's just say that. Now, back in September, we heard that, who is it? Spyglass. That's who. Spyglass Entertainment, or Spyglass Media Group now. After saying their name 8,000 times since September, I forget them. That's how big of a news story this is. So finally, we're getting something a little bit more interesting and detailed, and not just rumors. We're getting some factual information here that we can really, really talk about and dissect. So, Bloody Disgusting broke it as far as I'm concerned, because that's where I get all my horror news from, and I don't think I saw anyone else get this up before they did. So all credit, once again, goes out to bloodydisgusting.com. If you're a horror fan and you don't frequent their website, what the fuck are you doing with your life? So, the title of their article is "Brand New Scream Movie is Officially Happening, and the Ready or Not filmmakers are directing." Yes, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the only worry that I had about this film that is kind of quelled by this article. So let's just jump right in, because I'll say this. I've had some fears quelled. Some are a little bit more pressing now. So let's jump in. Let's read this article. Let's discuss. So the article starts out talking about how last September, Spyglass Media Group was going to resurrect Ghostface, but it's pretty much been, radio silence, pun intended, since then. So now, and I hope, once again, you guys know, if you frequent this channel at all, you know I'm awful with names. Bear with me. Feel free to make fun of me in the comments. Matt Bettinelli, Olpen, and Tyler Gillette, the two directors of last year's hit horror comedy film Ready or Not, will be directing Scream, and they said Scream 5. Like, once again, it's still not confirmed that's what we're getting, but that's what we're calling it. Just to clarify. So let me stop really quickly and say, if you haven't seen Ready or Not, once again, what the fuck are you doing with your life? If you're a horror fan, that movie is amazing. I do seriously, all joking aside, highly suggest you all go check it out if you haven't. I think you'll see some parallels, and just the way the film is done, that, it does for me, and maybe it will for you, make you feel a lot more confident about a new director or directors in this situation, stepping up into Wes Craven's shoes. For the first time in the Scream franchise. The director's not Wes Craven. Obviously, he passed away in 2015. I had some ideas for who I would have liked to have seen direct this thing. I did not think about these two, but to be honest with you, I am fully behind the idea of these two directing Scream 5, or whatever we're getting, incarnation we're getting for the next Scream film. So yeah, definitely go check out Ready or Not, if you're a Scream fan, especially, to kind of gauge and get an idea for what I'm talking about here. So these two make up 2/3 of the filmmaking collective Radio Silence, hence the little pun I threw out earlier. The group was also behind the 10/31/98 segment on VHS, and the Way Out and Way In segment of Southbound. Which I haven't seen Southbound, but I will say that segment of VHS I thought was very well done, so I got to give him credit there as well. Now, here's another thing that really it makes me feel better. I don't know who's writing this film. I don't know. I think there was some reporting on that months back, so I don't want to say anything without the information right in front of me, but one of the producers on this film is going to be Kevin Williamson. And I know what some of you were probably thinking, you'd rather have him write. I don't know if he's going to be involved in the writing process or not. But as a producer, he does have some say-so over the product itself, as he fucking should. So I'm loving the directors, loving the fact that Kevin Williamson is now attached to produce. It goes on to say, plot details. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have some plot details. They are very sparse. They do not tell us if we're getting a sequel, a reboot, a remake. We don't know. But that tells you how sparse these plot details are, I guess. So here are the plot details. And I'm quoting, plot details are scarce, but sources say it will follow a woman returning to her hometown to try and find out who has been committing a series of vicious crimes. And the article does go on to say, will the new film connect to the previous installments or bring us an entirely fresh take on the slasher tale of a mass killer knocking off pretty young folks? We don't know at this time. So there it is. We now know this film is moving ahead at Spyglass Media, which I'm so glad to hear after all the Harvey Weinstein bullshit that's been going on. He's gone for 23 years. Fuck him. I now want to focus on this film, as well as Hellraiser, which Spyglass also acquired. So we know we're getting the directors from Ready or Not. I'm on board with that. Love their work thus far. We know Kevin Williamson is now going to be producing. Love that. Love Kevin Williamson, the mastermind behind the original concepts and ideas behind Scream, having an input creatively in this process. And we also know that the plot involves a woman returning to her hometown to investigate a series of crimes. I guess we're to assume these are murders, even though it wasn't directly indicated in that quote there. But I'll tell you this. Things that have been worries that have been quelled, the director and Kevin Williamson being attached. These directors, I think, are going to do a fine job. I'm glad Kevin Williamson's involved. The things that I'm still a little bit worried about, it's just one thing, to be honest with you, and it's the one thing that I've been worried about this entire time. I'm a Scream purist. Seasons 1 and 2 of the show were okay at best. I don't want any more of it. Season 3 was garbage. I definitely don't want any more of that. I don't want a new story. I want, and I know a lot of you out there want the same thing, we want Scream 5. Are we going to get Scream 5? I'll tell you, by reading that description, I don't know this to be true, but I've got a bit of a gut feeling that is telling me that that may not actually be the case. It's a bit upsetting, but we don't know. We don't know. It's not concrete. It's, nothing's been said one way or the other. So that's the news we have for right now. I want to know what you all think about this news. Leave me a comment down below in the comment section, because that's where that would go. Comments go in the comment section. You're a smart cookie. I know you'll figure that out. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe. And even turn on notifications. If you guys and gals enjoy talking about Scream and what Spyglass is going to be doing with this thing. We talk about Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends on this channel. We talk about Spiral from the Book of Saw. Anything and everything, Candyman, upcoming in the horror genre. I also do Bloody Breakdowns, which is where I actually break down, do a deep dive of the best and worst that horror has to offer. Pretty much anything and everything going on in the horror genre, I'm talking about right here on Bloody Breakdown. So feel free, subscribe, turn on notifications. That'd be very awesome of you. And yeah, definitely before we depart from one another today, check down below in the description section where you'll see a couple of links to follow me on social media or even support my work via Patreon. That'd be very swell of you. So yeah, I'm going to try not to shit kittens because we're finally getting some Scream news now after a few months of silence. And before we go, ladies and gentlemen, remember, wash your fucking hands and don't touch your face. There's a virus going around out there. And, yeah, let's do that. Sounds like a plan to me, right? I'd love to be healthy to go watch this film and some of the other ones I've been talking about on this channel. So help me out by doing your part and I'll do the same. So in closing, I'm Brent from Bloody Breakdown. Very excited, yet reserved. And we'll catch you all next time.